What is happening, mile crushers? Anybody that's watching this, probably going to be motorcycle related people, so you're my people. I have been wanting to make this video for a little while now. I haven't because I'm just always so damn impatient. So I managed to hold off and wait before I did any of the stuff so I can show you how I do that stuff. So I submit several rides across multiple organizations for various reasons, and one thing that they all have in common is Spot Walla. If you're getting your rides certified, Spot Walla is kind of a no-brainer. You just need to. This is my Spot Walla dashboard. Before we get into anything, if you're new to this whole environment, it could possibly look a little intimidating. The one thing that you need to be aware of is your devices. This is where all of the information really takes place, or is created from. All right, so you don't want to screw any of this up. I wouldn't delete anything. I wouldn't do anything in here until you're a little bit more comfortable with this whole interface. So that being said, these are the different devices that I use or have used. And these are the messages or polls that they each have. So you have some sort of device that is synced to Spot Walla. That device polls at a certain frequency. Mine are usually all at 10 minutes. And so every 10 minutes, this thing polls, it pings, and then Spot Walla gets that information from that device and plots a map of where you've been or whatever based off of that information in the device. Okay, so for example, this map is everywhere I've been in 2025 so far. So you'll notice these pictures are receipts. All right, I mean these pictures can be whatever you want them to be, but every time that it polls, it puts one of these little dots, right? And so you'll notice that this was 9:45. This over here is 9:35, 10 minutes apart, right? So every 10 minutes, this thing goes off. And when you zoom out far enough, you can kind of see a map. But when you zoom in close enough, you can see that in between those dots is straight lines. So that can play a factor in what you are able to upload. So just be aware of it. It's not a huge deal. It's just something that you should know. So let's get into it. I'm going to make I'm going to make a trip for one of the rides to be certified with the IBA. And this is how I'm doing it. You go into Trip Manager, you go create trip. The naming convention, it's, just name it something that you're gonna recognize. So let's do 2025 02 15 1K, no interstates. You can put the description over here, whatever you want. I don't. Your start date, mine was on the 15th. The end date was also on the 15th. I'm going to leave this like this for now. It's 0 o'clock. I started at 5 in the morning, but that's not important right now. So down here are the devices that you can select to create this trip with. I'm only going to select this one right here, which is my InReach Mini 2. And it's by default, it's already selected. Now, you want to go into security and allow viewers to download the trip's location data. Must be checked for the IBA. Is this trip public? Must be checked for the IBA. I unchecked speed data just because it makes me feel better. They still can see that information when they download that, so you're not hiding anything. It's just something that I do. All my trips are public. Sometimes people jump on there, and I'm just trying to minimize the onlookers from pissing me off. Options. This at this point is kind of muscle memory for other things that I've done. I've needed these settings. Show all history, and then your fill density is all. That's not required for one-day trips. Again, this is just something for for muscle memory. There are some trips that have required this, and so I don't forget that. I just keep it that way all the time. So we're going to create that trip, and let's see what it looks like. View. As I'm putting this together, I'm realizing something that I want to make sure that I explain clearly. The devices are set up and synced prior. You set your device up the first time and it's a done deal. Should be. And so you got to make sure that is synced and working properly before you just go out on a trip. All I do is I make sure that my device is tracking, and then I go do whatever trips that I want to do. And then if I want to create a Spot Walla, I do it after the fact. So, but it's because that device I know for sure is tracking. So make sure your device is tracking. This is not going to work unless there's information to make these trips. I hope that makes sense. This is the trip that I took on the 15th. So the green star is the start, and then this arrow right here is the finish. Is the last pole, right? So we got our trip all set up. Now what we need to do is we need to upload the receipts to that trip. Now this is how I do it. I've done this several ways, and at this very moment in time, this is how I'm doing this, just because it is easiest on me. I download all my receipts, and then I rename them. Again, for me, it makes it easy. I know that this is my first receipt. I know this is my last receipt. So the first one, I know it's this one. So I click this, update picture, and then I'm going to drag this right there. It uploads, and then you go back, and then when you refresh the page, it shows that receipt that I just uploaded. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go through my trip. This is here's the next one. It's in Big Spring, Texas, and it was 10:52 in the AM. So Big Spring was up here. Now when I zoom in on this, I can kind of look and see. And so like I remember this. I took this loop around, and I was like, damn, I need gas. And so I didn't want to carry on my trip. Anyway, so like I know that this is the gas station without getting too involved in the specs and the details and the data. I just know that this is that stop. So I'm gonna keep doing this until I've got this whole trip filled in with receipts. So I will not bore you with that, with a little YouTube magic and some editing. We are going to skip right along to the end. Amazing, right? All done, all finished. So now this is what that trip looks like with the receipts in there. Another way that you can go about uploading your receipts is in the device manager itself, right? So or the device itself. So this is my device, for example. If you click on messages, it's going to bring you up every message that is in there, right? Now, if you know what you're doing in here, it can be kind of easy. So I would approach with caution. Let's see here. If we go to the 15th, like I said, I've already uploaded the pictures, so you'll see them over here. Now, you can look these pictures up, or like you can look this data up, and if you know what you're doing, you can just boom, boom, boom. You can upload them here, and it works just the same. But for now, I think it's easiest just to kind of go through your trip, and you look at your receipts, and oh yeah, I know I was there. Anyways, and then plus too, if your device is polling correctly, you can see, and I say correctly, but like you can see if you zoom in close enough. Oh, this is the Exxon. That's pretty obvious. That's where you're getting gas, right? So, anyways. Another way to do this is on the fly with your mobile device, and I've done it that way. And when it's not super cold and I'm wearing super thick gloves, sometimes I'll do it that way. Just depends on what I got going on. But those are the three different ways that, you know, with those 3 different ways, you should be able to get this done pretty easily. It takes a couple of them to kind of feel comfortable and like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. But the devices, that's the important part. All this, like these trips and everything like this can all be deleted and then redone. It doesn't matter as long as you don't delete the device. So, little word to the wise with the IBA. You need to have receipts every 350 miles. So, which for most people, that's not going to be an issue. So yeah. So what happens from here is I'm going to go over to the IBA's website and Mile Monsters and Ride 1K in a Day and wherever else I need to send this information. And boom, that's it.